Hi, I'm Andrew, ESS Solutions Engineer with Jinko ESS Australia. I'm going to walk you through an example CNI project. So in this case, this is a regional Victoria EV charging hub. Currently it is a greenfield site, meaning there's nothing on site. And let me walk you through the site details now and the proposed plan for this site. So the existing site overview, there's no energy storage, no PV, no EV chargers at this time, as it is a greenfield site. However, we have an export limit of 300 kilowatts. The intended use of this site is, as discussed, the intended use of this site is to be an EV charging hub. The primary objective is self-consumption. The BESS will be behind the meter, and the PV will be able to export any excess energy generated. There will be no FCAS or energy arbitrage on this site, as the returns for this case are better without. So the solution is 4 sun giga, 450 kilowatts of PV, and a 200 kilowatt EV charging setup. Total system capacities are 860 kilowatt hours of BESS, 450 kilowatts of PV, and again 200 kilowatts of EV chargers. So looking at the annual energy use, you'll see a site load of 650 megawatt hours. A small portion of this will be for lighting and other convenience power generation for the EV charging site, but the primary load is the EV chargers. You'll see over on this side of the screen that roughly 32% of the energy used on site is through solar, 39% is through battery, and the remainder, 29%, is from the grid. So this site is quite self-sufficient. The majority of power is generated from the PV and the BESS to supply the load. This allows for greater returns as the amount of power purchased from the grid is lower, and revenue can also be generated through export of excess PV. Looking at energy and PV consumption on this site, looking first at the daily energy activity, you'll see that the site load in blue actually goes negative during the portion of the day where the PV is generating the most energy. This is good, as that means that we're supplying the load of the EV chargers as well as being able to sell excess power back to the grid, generating multiple revenue opportunities. In turn, the BESS is primarily charged by the PV system as well. Looking at our PV consumption, you'll see that 74% is self-consumed, with roughly half going directly to the load and the other half to charging the battery, with of course the final quarter of that PV generation being sold back to the grid. Looking at the energy metrics in PV generation here, the energy independence averages 59% over the course of the year and is highest in the months of January and December, of course, in the summer when PV generation is highest. You'll see the solar utilization average is quite high as well, and the battery utilization is a sustainable number that has room for growth in the future. Finally, we get to the payback period and cash flow for the site. As you can see on the chart, there will be a 7-year payback period with a 15.4% rate of return. So after 7 years, the site will be generating pure profit for the owner. This is down to the well-sized BESS and PV setup for the load. That's everything for today. Thank you for joining, and we look forward to seeing you next time.